Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a homemaking style video where I am going to be, of course, cleaning everything up, but I'm also going to be sharing 4 different recipes with you guys. These are super incredibly easy. They're also family friendly, except for one is a little bit spicy, but the rest are great. And then I'm also going to be cleaning out my fridge. I was totally not planning on doing that, but I went in my fridge earlier today to put some groceries away, and it was just really chaotic in there, and I was like, you know what, I really need to get this done, and I'm sure that you guys will appreciate that, especially with being around the new year and just kind of getting it off to a good start. So we have a ton to get done. We have cooking, cleaning, more cleaning, and a little bit of food prep as well. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. I wanna hear you say that you only want me. So of course I am focusing on the kitchen today, and I wanted to get a really good tidy on the kitchen before I started cleaning out the fridge or cooking, just so I have a nice clean space to start out with. So the first thing I'm doing is just clearing off the counters and kind of putting things away where they go. I feel like the kitchen definitely gets out of hand if you don't just keep up on it constantly during the day, and I feel like I used to do better about keeping up with it during the day, but a lot of times, especially with the boys being home all day and just being in school and now me working from home and everything, I feel like I just don't focus on the kitchen constantly during the day because otherwise I don't get anything else done. But I definitely feel like I have gotten pretty efficient in just getting it nice and tidied pretty quickly. But anyway, another thing I did recently was grab a pack of new mason jars. If you haven't noticed, we actually just use mason jars for our drinking cups. We've done this for several years. I feel like they work really well. They're also pretty resistant to breaking, which is amazing when you have little kids. And then also for on the go, you can just pop a lid on and you are good to go. But I do feel like for some reason we end up losing our glasses. I don't know if we take them in the car with us and they get lost or something, or if they get tossed in the trash accidentally. I have no idea what happens. They just like mysteriously disappear. And so because of that, I went ahead and got a new pack. But of course, before using them, I did want to run them through the dishwasher and just get them nice and cleaned. So this is not cleaning related and definitely more mindset talking. I feel like I've been sharing a little bit more about mindset work just because that's kind of what I have been working on personally lately. But I did want to share something really quick. So like I said, recently I have been working on mindset. And I feel like something that we all kind of struggle with is it is so easy to get used to the life that you live and the blessings that you have. And I feel like a lot of times we end up taking that for granted. And I was talking to the boys the other day just about being thankful and how it's okay to want for new things, but also don't let it cloud your perspective of everything that you were blessed with. I'm personally just really trying to do that this year in both physical things that I have as well as the emotional side. For example, I know years ago I would dream of the life that we we have now, yet some days I still find myself struggling through it and just wishing things were easier, I was less tired, or whatever the case might be. And so I'm really just trying to keep things in perspective and always make sure that I have a grateful heart with everything I do. I feel like that is kind of the road to happiness. If there is even a road, there's definitely lots of ways to be happy in life. But I think that is definitely something that will end up leading you to true happiness, is just being grateful for everything that you have, whether you are at the beginning of your journey, whether life is feeling pretty good to you right now, or whether you are just kind of struggling with a lot of different things. We really do always have so much to be grateful for. And so that's something that I'm totally doing. If you guys would like to join me in that this year and just try to make sure that we are always having a grateful heart for whatever we are doing and whatever we have, I think that will make us all so much happier. Also, let me know in the comments if you guys enjoy this little like mindset chat here and there. I totally love it because I feel like that's what I think about a lot of the time. And so I love sharing that with you guys. But if you're not into it, I totally understand that too. But I would love to kind of hear what you enjoy, if you enjoy that stuff, or you'd rather me to kind of just stick to talking about home stuff and cleaning and things like that. It's totally fine either way. I'm just curious. Oh my gosh, I could not believe that I dropped that container and it shattered everywhere. I just was so beside myself. I couldn't even believe that happened. And you'll actually see later on in this video how my day went. I feel like several little things went wrong. Like, for example, dropping my brand new containers and having it shatter all in my sink when I was in the middle of cleaning dishes. And there will just be some other little things later on. But I do feel like you totally have to laugh it off because that's just how life goes. There's always going to be little things here and there. And if you don't have a positive attitude about it, it can totally get you down. But anyway, while I had to kind of pull everything out of my sink drain, it reminded me that it was about time for me to clean out my actual sink drain itself. I've done this before and I've shared it with you guys, but it's something that I don't do like every day or anything. It's something I probably do about once a month or so, and it always amazes me how dirty it gets. But this time when I took the little ring out to kind of dig out any pieces of glass that had fallen down into the drain, I noticed and felt how slimy like the inside of the ring was going down into my drain. And I don't think I have ever cleaned this area or even thought about it for some reason. I don't know now why I didn't ever think about that part, but I just hadn't. And so I ended up cleaning that while I had everything taken apart anyway. And I was so disgusted and just beside myself on this. I could not believe how gross it was. So a quick little reminder, if your sink ring comes out like this, make sure you pull it out and clean it. And also make sure you clean like the outside area of that, because let me tell you, that area is disgusting and definitely could use a little TLC. I would love to hear on a scale of like the grossest thing that you have seen to something that doesn't gross you out at all. What would you rate this right here, just seeing like how dirty that was? For me, I feel like this is probably like a 9 or 10, like one of the grossest things I've cleaned. It just was so slimy and nasty.
that I can't explain. Ain't no logic when I'm caught in a feeling. I hear echoes that whisper our names. City streetlights that illuminate. And when we're walking, I'm talking too much. Easy to get me caught in a rush. Together it's never enough. It's like all those nights we fell in love. I'm feeling it over again. So caught in it, don't let it.
All right, I have the whole kitchen cleaned and also the living room area. I don't know what the cats are doing. But now we are going to start working on the fridge. This is not gonna be like a crazy clean and reorganize or anything. I just want to pull everything out, wipe everything down, and then semi-organize it when I put it back in. It's just a hot mess in here. It's definitely been worse. If you guys have seen my other videos, it's definitely been worse than this. But I feel like everything is just kind of shuffled around. Like I've kind of fallen off my little organization on this just because mostly I think the holidays and all of that, but I just need to kind of like go through everything. I'm also going to be prepping out a few things. Like I want to prep out like our grapes. A lot of this is actually for the recipes that we are going to be making, and then just making sure that nothing in here is actually expired. So I'm going to show you what we are working with at first, and then we'll start pulling everything out and getting to it. Also, one quick note, this I'm going to show you is exactly why having an organized space, especially in your fridge, can save you money. So I'm gonna make a sheet pan dinner tonight or today, and one of the things I needed is smoked sausage. I didn't think I had any, and as I was like adding more things into the fridge when we got back home, I was pulling things out and I ended up finding several more that I had got at Sam's Club. That's just one little thing. I could have saved like $7 or something, I think maybe $6 on not getting more sausage today if I had had this totally organized. But those items like weren't even in the meat drawer, they were just like throughout the fridge. So anyway, if you need a little bit of motivation or a little bit of like that little push to get you to organize your space, just know it will save you money. All right, let's do it.
You and me, we don't have no regrets. Take me back, I don't wanna forget. Take me back to the nights we never felt more alive. All the time that we spent running through the silhouettes. It was all that we knew when we had nothing to lose. Put it all on the line. Run away with me tonight. Let's run away.
So now that we are starting to tackle the fridge, the first thing that I wanted to do was start by pulling everything out, and then that way I could just kind of wipe everything down. But I did want to give you a little reminder. I feel like sometimes in these YouTube videos, you can just look at everything being done and feel like I don't have time to spend hours on my fridge, but these things can really be done a lot simpler. Sometimes I go a little bit more crazy with this, and then sometimes like today, I'm doing it a little bit more easy. This probably only took me about 30 minutes or so, and it really just does not have to be as daunting of a task as you think it can be sometimes. I mean, you can totally go overboard and just pull every single rack out and make a huge mess in your sink and scrub everything out like crazy. Or you can just take a few of the drawers out and then wipe everything else down, and it is still going to be so much cleaner than it was when you started. And it just does not have to be a whole huge project if you don't have time for that or you don't really want to do that day. But doing something is definitely better than nothing. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and just remind you that things don't have to be as intense as sometimes you see them being, or as big of a project as it might seem like it is.
Through the silhouettes, it was all that we knew when we had nothing to lose. Put it all on the line. Run away with me tonight. Let's run away. No plans you've made. Away. Keep your eyes on me tonight. Let's run away to yesterday. Just say you're
Also, the cloths that you are seeing me use here on my fridge are just my e-cloth general purpose cloth to clean everything off, and then my glass and polishing cloth, which is what I'm using to kind of dry everything off and make it nice and shiny and not leave any streaks or anything. And I am using these with just water. That's all you have to use with them. I swear by these cloths. They are incredible, and I always have my link down below so you can go ahead and check them out if you have not yet.
summer nights, the days are long. You and me, we were the only one. We were
I am having just a day. Like, so earlier when I was washing the dishes, I dropped one of the brand new glass dishes on all the other ones and it cracks right in the sink. And then I was just like setting down my little handheld tripod and I accidentally dropped it on my eggs. 3 or 4 of them are broke all over my counter and like all over the other ones. I mean, it's not like a huge deal, but I feel like there have just been little things like that just all day long. Things are just going the way they're gonna go and it's okay, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate when little things like that happen. So now I gotta clean that up and then I'm gonna start wiping out these drawers. Let's pray that's the end of it.
Made on fire, we were lighter than the summer breeze. Dancing the records in your bedroom like the 70s. Always on my mind, you ain't the music on my mind. Frozen in time, always on my mind. I feel it all coming back in the moment. Record spins a wave of the ocean. So if you wanna come over, the door is open. Play it all back in slow motion.
I love seeing like a totally clean space like this, especially one that doesn't get cleaned daily or anything. It just is so amazing how good it feels to have it totally cleaned. But one thing that I wanted to remind you, and one thing that I'm making sure to keep in mind as I am filling my fridge back up, is just to be really mindful of what you put back into your fridge. Make sure that it's something that you're truly going to use. Make sure to check those expiration dates and make sure you're not putting things back in that actually have gone bad. And also be mindful of how you are putting things back in your fridge. Make sure that you're putting the things that you use the most really easily accessible. Also, if there are things that you really want to make sure that you're eating, like your fruits and vegetables, make sure those are really nice and upfront and really easily accessible as well, because our fridges really are just a limited size and that is very valuable real estate in there. So just make sure that you are using all that space wisely. Finally, the fridge is all done. I just wanted to show you guys that because it really does not have to take like a whole day or hours and hours to get that done. You can do it really quickly. You could even do less if you wanted, like clean out one shelf or something. It just does not have to be like a full-blown, like pull every single shelf out, wash it all out, make a huge mess type thing. It can be done pretty simple, and it can even be done more simpler than I did today. But now it's looking nice. I do still have like a lot of our produce because that's what we are going to be doing our recipes with, and also like food prepping some of those. So I do have those pulled out of the fridge right now, of course, so that will kind of fill up that empty space I have in there. But now that we are all done with this, the kitchen's mostly clean still, let's get to the recipes. Okay, the first recipe that I'm going to share today is a sheet pan dinner. You can really customize this to whatever you love, but it is so quick and easy. There's not a whole lot to it. And like I said, you can really customize like the spices you have, whatever veggies you have on hand. I'm going to show you like my typical way to do it. But again, I usually just kind of pull from whatever veggies we have on hand, and then either like some chicken or beef. But I've also just done this with straight veggies if we don't have any meat in the house. And any way you have it, it is so good. Plus, this is really great to make ahead of time. You can store it. It reheats very well. It's so good. I've even had it like with eggs the next morning. It's so delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you my sheet pan dinner recipe. So to make your sheet pan dinner, you are first going to start out by preheating your oven to 400 degrees and then chopping up all of your veggies and sausage. Now keep in mind with your vegetables, you can use whatever veggies you love or just whatever ones you have on hand. I typically do love to go for the fresh veggies as opposed to the frozen in this case, just because I feel like that gets them a little bit crispier. So just a few ideas on veggies. I really always love adding in onions, peppers, potatoes, sweet potatoes, zucchinis, carrots, broccoli. You can also add in things like tomatoes, green beans. I mean, the list just kind of goes on, but really whatever you love will work great in here. And then once you have all your veggies chopped up, you will also want to chop up all your sausage, and you're going to add all of those items into a large mixing bowl and then just kind of give it a quick stir just to kind of mix it all up. And then once you have everything mixed up a little bit, you are going to place all of those ingredients onto a baking sheet, followed by drizzling some of your oil. I love using avocado oil, and then also adding all of your seasonings right on top. I love the Montreal steak seasoning, but you can use whatever one you want again. And then I also add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Now, keep in mind, you're not going to be having to add a lot of oil because the sausage will be releasing a bit of oil into the dish, unless if you're using a sausage with less fat content like turkey or chicken. And then once you have all of that done, you are going to pop this in your 400 degree oven for about 30 minutes or until the veggies are fork tender. And then you can always add in more seasoning to taste. This is amazing. You can enjoy it immediately or store it and then reheat it throughout the week. I absolutely love this with eggs. I love eating it on its own, just like on top of a salad even. It is so good no matter how you enjoy it, but you will definitely love this one. All right, next we are going to start working on chicken tortilla soup. This is something I feel like there's 1,000 recipes for. All of them are delicious. This is one that I actually got from one of my sisters when we went to visit her in Arizona. It is so delicious, and she just kind of had like a unique way of doing it and like making it and presenting it, and it was so yummy. I have kind of customized it to our own family's taste, but again, you can really customize it to whatever you like. Change up the seasonings, change up your add-ins, change up your toppings, and you have something that is perfect for your family. But I love the quick thing with this is you can make it with a rotisserie chicken. You can also make it with your own like chicken breast that you cook up, but I love using the rotisserie chicken just because it really cuts out a lot of time with this, and I can have dinner done in like 20-30 minutes. So to make the chicken tortilla soup, you are going to start out by pulling all of the chicken off your rotisserie chicken into bite-sized pieces, or if you aren't using a rotisserie chicken, you can just cook your chicken breast and cut them into pieces. And then next you are going to chop all of your onion and then add that into a stock pot, and you're just going to saute your onion until it's translucent and softened. Next, you're going to add in your chicken stock, chicken pieces, black beans, tomatoes, and corn, and also your seasonings. Now keep in mind, you can totally customize this, adding in more items or taking out any that you don't like. Then turn your heat to medium-low and cook for about 20 minutes, just kind of stirring occasionally. And this is just really to kind of let the flavors meld together because everything is actually cooked and ready to be eaten. It just kind of needs to be heated up and come together a little bit. So like I said, I have totally customized this to just our own taste. One thing that my sister did, which was really neat, is she actually just did the onions and the chicken and the broth in the pot, and then the seasonings, of course, and then everything else was like in bowls kind of off to the side, and you could just add in whatever you wanted. So I thought that was perfect, especially if you have picky eaters. You can have like tomatoes off to the side, you can have the black beans off to the side, you can have corn off to the side, just whatever kind of like little bits and pieces you want in there. But if you have someone who hates tomatoes, or you have someone who is like a picky eater and doesn't like corn or something, they don't have to add that into their bowl. And I felt like that was just a brilliant way to serve this. So like I said, I just add everything in here. I just have our kids kind of pick around anything they don't want. But I did just want to share that with you in case if that would be helpful. So while this is just kind of cooking and starting to simmer, I'm going to start working on the toppings. Then finally, you can remove from heat and then add your toppings. So for toppings, you can use avocado, cheese. We personally love Monterey Jack. You can also add in olives, salsa, tortilla chips, really just whatever you like. But the biggest tip that I can give you for this is to add the cheese at the bottom. I actually learned this from my sister, and the reason for doing this is because the cheese gets so much more melty when you put it at the bottom and then pour the soup on top of it, as opposed to putting the cheese on top. But it is so delicious. And if you tried this recipe or any of the recipes I share, definitely let me know in the comments what you think of them. I hope you love them all, but this is definitely one of our family's go-tos right now. And I also want to say a big thank you to my sister and brother-in-law, because they are who I learned this recipe from, and it has been one of our favorites ever since. All right, next we are going to do the bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers. These have been like some of my little obsession lately. I feel like I'm having them not every day, but like multiple times a week. They are so good. They fill me up a lot. They are not dairy free because I do use cream cheese and cheese in them. Cheese typically doesn't seem to bother me too much. I don't have like a ton of it, but something like this I will have cheese, but it is gluten-free, so it doesn't seem to bother me a lot, and it is so quick and easy. Also, I am going to be using my air fryer to make this one, but you can definitely pop them in the oven. And prior to getting my air fryer for Christmas, we always did them in the oven. They turned out amazing. So I will leave the recipe card and leave like both ways of cooking them on there. So to make the bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers, you are going to start out by cutting the jalapenos lengthwise and deseeding them. You definitely want to make sure you get the seeds out because that will make them incredibly spicy. And then next you're just going to spread the cream cheese right inside of each jalapeno half, and then you're going to sprinkle cheddar cheese on top of the cream cheese. Now you don't have to do this, but I found that when you cook them, it actually kind of creates a shell around the cream cheese and just doesn't let the cream cheese explode out of your jalapeno poppers as much. And I also have found it works best to press the cheddar into the cream cheese slightly. Then once you have your jalapenos nice and stuffed, you are going to wrap bacon around the filled jalapenos until it's fully covering the cream cheese inside. Now sometimes if you're using a large jalapeno, you may have to use more than one piece of bacon. You usually don't have to use two, but sometimes you may have to use like 1.5 pieces of bacon. It just kind of depends. And then finally, you are going to cook them for 20 minutes at 400 degrees, flipping halfway through, and that is just to kind of cook both sides of the bacon evenly. Now this can be done the same way in the oven as you can do it in an air fryer. So here I am of course using my air fryer, but you can totally do this in a traditional oven as well. These are something that I have been totally obsessed with. They are such a great snack to have, and I feel like they are also really filling, which is amazing. And of course, they are super flavorful if you love spicy food. Last but not least, I am going to use these containers, the ones I have left, and I'm going to prep out some overnight oats. Now, Kyle and I love having these for breakfast. The kids also enjoy them, or at least Luke does, but I don't like having them in the fridge sitting soaking for days. I know a lot of people make like several batches of them. I like to just make a bunch of them dry, and then when I'm ready to have one the next morning, the night before, I will just add in like my milk and honey and fruit, and I'm good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll show you kind of like how I love to do it. So to make the overnight oats, you are going to just start out by getting a bowl or preferably about a 2-cup container with a lid like I have here. I will also link some down below for you guys. And then you're going to add in your oats along with any other dry ingredient add-ins. Like for example here, I'm using chia seeds and cinnamon, but you can also add in things like coconut flakes, cacao nibs, just kind of whatever you like. And then next you're just going to add in your milk, honey, and fruit and give it a quick stir. And then you're going to place it in your fridge overnight or for several hours. And when you're ready, you can pull it out and enjoy. This could not be easier for a quick or on-the-go breakfast or snack. And also a quick note, if you are doing this for meal prep like I'm doing here, I prefer to make them just one day ahead of eating them. So I will store them in my pantry with only the dry ingredients. So that would just be like the oats and any kind of dry ingredient add-ons that you have. And then on the night before I'm ready to have them, I will go ahead and add in any milk, any liquids or perishable ingredients like the frozen fruit or honey. And that way you can really prep this out ahead of time without having to worry about it going bad or just getting too soggy in the fridge. So here I just wanted to start prepping out some baggies of veggies to snack on. This has been something that Kyle and I have been loving, and the kids also can grab them too, but I feel like Kyle and I mostly are the ones who grab these. But these ones today are just going to have some carrot slices and also some celery sticks. They're so yummy, and because we were making them ourselves, they are really affordable to make. And they also just encourage you to grab a healthier snack as opposed to like a bag of chips or something. You just go into the fridge and have this all set up. And then also I wanted to prep out our grapes, and Noah had stolen one of the bags of grapes and brought it downstairs with him. And so I had to have him bring it back up so that I could go ahead and prep those out. And when I brought him back up, he decided he wanted to help as well. And so did Liam. So Liam and Noah both were in the kitchen with me, just kind of pulling all the grapes off of the stems. And I thought that was just super sweet that they wanted to come help. I love including the kids in the kitchen. I feel like it's so much fun. And I think it's really fun to see how much they enjoy actually doing that as well and just being included in the process of things. So next time you're doing some food prep, I would definitely try inviting your kiddos in if you have kids and see if they're interested. I feel like they surprise you a lot with that kind of thing and they end up being a lot more interested in it. And another plus side of that is when they actually are more involved in that, they tend to eat a little bit better, I've noticed. So a few different wins for that, but totally something to keep in mind.
Sunrise, perfect on your face, talking all night, memorizing ways you feel right, fit into place so dreamlike. Didn't have to think about you, never take a picture next to you. This feeling is swift like a river running to you.
Now, once I got the grapes all washed, I am just adding a paper towel to the bottom of my container, and that's just going to absorb any extra water and liquid in here, and it will actually help the grapes stay better for longer. So that's just a quick tip that I wanted to share with you guys. The very last thing on my list was just to wash all of the dishes. I tried to make these dishes really quickly without the sun going down, and so I saved all of the dishes to wash at the very end, but it didn't really take me very long. This is something that I was so tired at the end of this, honestly, just because I feel like when you're in the kitchen for hours, it ends up just taking a lot out of you. And so I totally just wanted to like leave the dishes and not mess with them. But I knew I would regret that, leaving them for the next day. And so if you are feeling that way today or anytime, just feeling like you really don't want to finish a task, think about how it will feel once you're all done. And I feel like that is something that I do a lot. I think about how I'm going to feel once I'm finished with something. And then it kind of just helps me push through that process. And I always feel so much better afterwards, just getting everything done all at once. So if you can just push yourself a little bit more to finish what you need to get done and think about how good it's going to feel once you're done, I bet you that will make a huge difference for you.
Don't care what they say. I've been working too hard lately. Feel like I'm going crazy. I need some time in the sun place. And I say on and on. 'Cause there you go again, my baby.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had asked you guys sometime last week which videos you would like to see this week, and a majority of you had said something about cooking or cleaning, and so I knew that a homemaking video would be perfect. I love sharing, of course, lots of cleaning motivation because I feel like we always need that motivation in our lives. But then also I immediately knew exactly which recipes I wanted to share because these are ones that we have been loving lately. And I know we can all use a little bit more recipe ideas. So I hope you enjoyed everything I shared in today's video. And if you did really enjoy this video, I would love if you would share it with a friend or family member. I have actually been getting several messages from you guys lately, just letting me know that you had found me through a friend or family member who had shared my videos with you. And that means so much to me. And honestly, it makes such a huge difference in my channel. And it just means more than you could know. I am so incredibly grateful for you guys and all of your support and love. I hope you guys have the most amazing day. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button down below if you are not already part of the family. And I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.